武汉的相亲大会，800个女生，0个男生。
Recently, a highly anticipated matchmaking event was held in Wuhan, and the scene was breathtaking, but the outcome was extremely disappointing. The event attracted about 800 women, and shockingly, not a single man showed up. Despite being held in a luxurious hotel, with an exquisitely decorated venue, and even offering attractive gifts to attendees, the entry fee alone was 3,800 yuan. However, for these women attending the event, none of these carefully arranged details seemed to achieve the expected results. Each woman dressed to impress, trying to present her best self. They wore high-end clothes, had meticulous makeup, and were ready to meet a potential rich and handsome man. However, after the event started, all they were met with was an empty venue, with no men in sight. The women attending the event mostly had very high expectations and standards. For example, a 35-year-old woman working in finance, earning 6,000 yuan a month, hoped to find a man earning 1 million yuan annually, owning a luxury car and a villa. A 36-year-old female English teacher sought a partner from Tsinghua or Peking University, with a height of 1.8 meters and a distinguished academic background. And a 38-year-old female entrepreneur expected to find a man earning 600,000 yuan a year, who was caring and romantic, responsible for household expenses, and would take her on at least 3 vacations a year. Their requirements were not only high but almost unreasonable. They presented themselves as expensive commodities, as if attending an auction rather than seeking true love. They hoped to exchange external appearances and money for a bond of the heart, yet failed to recognize that marriage is not a transaction, and love is not a business deal. In this materialistic society, perhaps money can buy a car, a house, or even an illusory sense of happiness, but it cannot buy true affection. These women viewed marriage as a game to gain material benefits, believing that showcasing their external conditions would easily lead them to find the ideal man. However, they ignored the most important thing in marriage: emotional connection, mutual understanding, and support. The 3,800 yuan entry fee seemed more like the price they paid for their fantasies of a rich, handsome man. This high-end matchmaking event in Wuhan was less about finding a life partner and more about a collective display of these women's achievements. They showed off their excellence, yet forgot that true excellence is not only about material conditions but also about inner qualities. These women seemed to live in their own fantasies. They might see themselves as noble swans, but they forgot that no man would be willing to pay for a woman who only values material things. Their conditions and expectations caused the men to flee. In the end, the matchmaking event was left with nothing but disappointment and emptiness. This failure exposed not only the huge disparity in the standards men and women have for choosing a partner, but also revealed the distortion of certain values in modern society. In this matchmaking event, the true meaning of love and marriage seemed to be overshadowed by these overly materialistic conditions and expectations.
资本捧杀女性的恶果正在搬上舞台。
The capital's manipulation and exploitation of women has become increasingly apparent in recent years, and it is now reaching its extreme. Recently, at a matchmaking event held in Wuhan, a 30-year-old professional dancer, whose weight was not disclosed, attracted widespread attention. She boldly declared on stage that her ideal partner must be a government employee with an annual salary of 200,000 yuan, or a non-government employee with an annual income of 300,000 yuan, and must be at least 1.8 meters tall. These standards, no matter how you look at them, seem less like criteria for a marriage match and more like a wish list. In response, the matchmaker hurriedly stated that someone earning 300,000 yuan a year would probably not choose to attend a matchmaking event. This remark sparked many online comments, with some joking that someone as beautiful as her should at least be looking for a man with a yearly salary of 1.8 million yuan. This statement, somewhat sarcastic in nature, clearly indicates that her demands are absurd and unrealistic, even to the point of being detached from reality. Following this, someone raised the question: do these women really not realize how unrealistic these standards are? This question has prompted a lot of reflection. In today's discussion, we won't approach this from the perspective of gender opposition but from the standpoint of capital and the market. Back in the 1980s, American capitalists faced a major issue: the consumption willingness of ordinary people had decreased. People no longer wanted to spend money as they did before and instead preferred to save. This posed a huge challenge for capitalists, as if people did not consume, how could capitalists make money? Thus, they devised a clever solution: change people's mindsets to encourage consumption. The media and television in the United States began heavily promoting consumerism, especially targeting women. For example, they spread messages like women should buy designer bags to invest in themselves, or there's no ugly woman, only women who don't know how to apply makeup. The essence of these promotions was to flatter and kill women, subtly guiding them to consume, thereby generating more profits for capital. This promotion of consumerism didn't just work in the US, it was replicated and upgraded in China. Through the creation of holidays and specific occasions, such as White Day, Goddess Day, and 520, these days are not just simple celebrations. The core purpose behind them is to stimulate female consumption and further help capital gain profit. When women buy more products, capital receives more funds, which in turn allows for more media and advertising promotions, thus forming a perfect closed loop. What has made this process successful in China is its unique market environment. Taking marriage as an example, the supply-demand relationship between men and women directly determines who holds the initiative in the market. The number of men in China exceeds the number of women by about 30 million, which fundamentally means that many men must work hard to please women in order to have the right to choose a partner. Meanwhile, under the influence of capital's manipulation, women have grown increasingly confident. Some even believe they are very attractive and that there are always plenty of suitors, and they can always find a better partner. However, they often fail to realize that their sense of superiority is the result of capital's manipulation. Now, China's population of older single women has surpassed 100 million, while the number of leftover men is far fewer. The failure of the matchmaking event in Wuhan reveals the negative consequences of capital's manipulation of women and lifts the veil on this reality. Finally, what I want to say is that the ongoing discussion of these bizarre matchmaking phenomena is, in fact, a sign of awakening among single young people. More and more people are beginning to realize the harm caused by capital's manipulation, and they will gradually come to understand what they truly need, leading them to a more grounded and meaningful life.
This girl's profile has started to yellow a bit. I'm not sure how long her profile has been up here. Nor am I certain if she has already found a suitable match. This girl is from Shenzhen, 27 years old, 1.63 meters tall, has a bachelor's degree, and holds a senior management position. Her monthly income ranges from 20,000 to 50,000 yuan. She has already purchased a home, and she is looking forward to getting married. She describes herself as a more conservative person who wants to live a stable and grounded life. She doesn't have any particular hobbies and believes that as long as she can find the right person and be in a sincere relationship, that would be enough to make her happy. Under this girl's profile, others have asked me if I have any suitable matches or advice. I happen to know a man who fits her age range. He was born in 1993, which makes him a good match for her age. This man is a very honest and upright person, has never been married before, and has no prior marriage experience. While I was strolling around the park, an elderly lady approached me and asked me to help her son find a suitable match. Her son was born in 1974, and he's almost 51 years old now. He is still single. It seems that he has remained unmarried all this time due to issues with the bride price. Given his age, I think it may be difficult to help him find a suitable match. After all, the requirements of women nowadays are quite high.
甚至是很排斥、很讨厌相亲这项活动吧。
Have you ever wondered why more and more men are losing interest in arranged marriage activities, or even refusing to participate? Some even develop strong aversion and disgust toward matchmaking. The fundamental reason is that the success rate of arranged marriages is just too low. For men, participating in various matchmaking activities is almost like paying for trouble. It's simply a waste of time and money. So, why does this happen? Ultimately, it's because men and women have very different understandings of what matchmaking is. For men, arranged marriage is just a simple you look at me, I look at you process. If you don't like me, or I'm not interested in you, we simply part ways. But if I feel a bit of attraction toward you and you seem okay, we can start to connect and get to know each other. This process is very direct, simple, and doesn't carry too much burden. However, for women, the understanding of arranged marriage is completely different. They usually view matchmaking from the perspective of the employer conducting a job interview. When it comes to choosing a spouse, women tend to see themselves as the recruiter, while men are the job seekers. If the woman feels the man isn't suitable, she'll end it right there without hesitation. If she thinks he's good enough, she might give him a chance to pursue her. Doesn't this seem ridiculous? How can this possibly be a mutual interaction? Men choose arranged marriage because they are typically not good at or not willing to actively pursue women in real life. Otherwise, they wouldn't be resorting to matchmaking in the first place. Similarly, for those particularly beautiful or high-status women, they generally don't lack admirers in real life and therefore don't need to rely on arranged marriage to find a partner. Since both sides have come to the point of matchmaking, why not be more straightforward? Why should men always be expected to pursue women? Actually, it's like going to a restaurant. We go to a restaurant for convenience and to save time. When we get there, the chef cooks the meal, the waiter serves the dishes, and we just sit down and eat. But if we had to cook the meal ourselves, serve the dishes, and wash the dishes after, wouldn't it be better to just cook at home? It would be much more convenient, right? The same goes for arranged marriage. Men choose it for convenience, to save time, and to improve efficiency. But women expect men to actively pursue them, which completely contradicts the original purpose of matchmaking. If men really wanted to pursue women, they could take the initiative in real life. So why choose matchmaking? If women don't change this mindset, they may face an awkward situation where no man wants to participate in arranged marriage with them in the future. Therefore, if women don't adjust their attitude, they might end up with no opportunities for matchmaking at all.
为什么现在很多男孩子他找不到对象？
Why is it that many young men nowadays can't find a partner? Why do many young men feel no happiness in marriage, or even begin to fear it, leading to what is known as marriage phobia? They no longer believe in marriage. Why is this happening? Moreover, the divorce rate is soaring, even reaching 50 to 60%, and in some places, it has even gone as high as 70%. At the same time, more and more women in society are engaging in behaviors such as fraudulently obtaining bride price and money. Faced with this situation, many young men have become particularly cautious. It's difficult for them to find women who can lead a stable life in their local area. First, many young men have a small social circle. They are very busy with work and don't have much time to meet women. Also, many young men have introverted personalities and lack good communication skills and emotional intelligence. They don't even know how to start a conversation. Therefore, even when they have the opportunity to meet women, they lack the ability to communicate and connect with them deeply. Nowadays, young women tend to prefer men who are articulate, emotionally intelligent, and good at communication and pleasing others. But in reality, many young men are focused on their work, busy with their careers, have poor speaking skills, and lack emotional intelligence. They don't have time to talk to women and understand them. Additionally, many young men go to blind dates during holidays or work periods, but the blind date process often leaves them feeling defeated. Every time they go on a blind date, they are expected to prepare many gifts and red envelopes for the woman, but most blind dates end in failure, making them not only waste money but also a lot of time. This causes their confidence to plummet, and they feel increasingly inferior. This is why many young men are unwilling to go on blind dates, fear marriage, or even develop a sense of fear about it. Especially when they see such a high divorce rate around them, many people not only lose their money after a divorce but even lose their spouse. After experiencing these setbacks, young men are afraid to go through another failed marriage. After failing at blind dates once, twice, or even 4 times, they lose faith in marriage and start thinking, will we just stay single like this? But in reality, things are not that absolute. Recently, I've noticed that more and more young men are starting to look overseas, towards countries like Vietnam, Bangladesh, and other poor rural areas. The women in these areas live under harsh conditions, and many of them are very content to marry into a better environment. These young men bring these women back to China, and their lives are actually pretty good. Although these countries have poor living conditions, the women there have lower expectations and are often more satisfied with a better life after they come to China. These women usually do not have high standards and are not picky about a man's appearance, education, or physical build. However, if you still cling to the idea of, I want to find a beautiful, well-built, highly educated, and outstanding woman, you may find that you don't have enough ability to handle such a woman. After all, the ultimate goal of marriage is to live together, not just for appearance, education, and body shape. If you are not good enough yourself, it may be very difficult for you to attract women with high standards. On the other hand, if you have enough capability, you can find a suitable partner locally. So, what I want to tell everyone is that if you can find a suitable woman locally, one who is willing to live a stable life with you, then cherish her. If you really can't find one, then consider looking beyond your local area. Time waits for no one, and the years are passing by. It's already 2025, and we're growing older every day. Our parents are getting older, and they've been worrying about our future for a long time. Their health is no longer as good as it used to be, and they are often concerned about us. We should think about our own future and our parents' future.
After watching the news about the high-end matchmaking event in Wuhan, I have a lot of thoughts. There were 800 women attending, but not a single man showed up. This reminded me of a question I once asked a friend. I asked her, why doesn't your matchmaking company try to organize a large-scale matchmaking event? In this way, single men and women could meet more potential partners, and the options would be more abundant, making it easier to find a suitable match, right? She told me that she had actually tried organizing such events several times before, but the results were far from expected. In fact, it turned out to be much less efficient than one-on-one matchmaking. The reason is that when people are faced with more options, many of them get confused and don't know how to make a judgment, ultimately failing to find a suitable partner. You see, when organizing a matchmaking event, whether it's for men or women, people naturally focus on the more outstanding individuals. Men usually pay attention to those few particularly beautiful and attractive women, and women often focus on the tall, well-conditioned, and charming men. Even if you invite a large number of people to the event, the competition inevitably centers around those few exceptional individuals, and the others get ignored or excluded. This is one of the main reasons why the success rate of larger matchmaking events tends to be lower. These days, many people feel that finding a partner has become more and more difficult, and one key reason for this is that our options have been drastically expanded. In the past, people's choices were often limited to a smaller circle, so it was easier to find a relatively suitable partner. But now, when the choices are so wide, everyone can meet more potential partners, even from distant places through social media and matchmaking platforms. This actually leads people to feel lost because with too many choices, it becomes increasingly difficult to make decisions. Especially for women, they tend to get lost in the sea of options, losing their original standards and goals. As a result, their requirements tend to become higher and higher, and in the end, they still struggle to find a partner. If it were you, would you want to attend a large-scale matchmaking event? Feel free to share your thoughts and experiences in the comment section, and let's discuss together. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Your support is very important to us, and we will continue to provide better content. Thanks again for watching, and see you next time.